I forgot about Connor until looking through old yearbooks shortly after graduation. His second grade yearbook photograph was adorable. A round-faced kid missing his two front teeth, messy hair, and a laugh in his eyes. He never could sit still and always had something to tell his friends. The winter of second grade, Connor stopped coming to school. One day in early December, he came to school but never made it home. His backpack was found just 2 blocks from his house, torn open and the contents tossed in the snow. Of course, we weren't told that. We just thought that he moved. And our teacher and parents let us believe that. None of us understood why we couldn't play outside for recess once the snow melted, or why our parents could only pick us up from our classroom. How do you explain to 7-year-olds that their friend was kidnapped as he walked home from school? My parents didn't tell me what happened to him until I was 17 and about to graduate. They pulled up old newspaper articles. They told me that everyone in the city was on a high alert for a white Oldsmobile with a dent in the bumper. After 4 years of searching, his family requested for the case to be closed and moved away. My friend and classmate, who I was so mad at because I thought he moved without telling me, probably died when he was 7 years old. It's awful. But what disturbs me more is the white Oldsmobile that took him away. The summer before second grade, I was out riding my bike with my other siblings. I was only ever allowed past our block when I was with them, so I relished these bike rides. About a mile or so from home, a white car began to follow us. No one noticed it for a while, but the oldest spotted it. He slowed down for me and my sister to get in front of him. He ordered my sister to get me home as quick as possible. He was going to lag behind to make sure it didn't follow us. Being so little, I didn't understand what was going on. I was sent to my room as my sister explained to my parents and waited for our brother to get home. I begged my parents to tell me what happened, but all they would tell me is, "You'll understand when you're older." A few weeks later, my parents went out of town for the weekend. My brother was 17 at the time, was left in charge, and I was playing outside when a white car pulled up and a woman motioned for me to go to the window. She asked me what my name was and if I lived here. She told me she was trying to find my dad, and he ran a photography business and wanted to talk to him about her daughter's wedding. I told her my parents weren't home, but would be back Monday, and she thanked me and drove away. As it got dark, I moved inside to watch TV with my siblings. It was well after dark when my sister noticed the car outside her house. She called for our brother and he went out and talked to the woman, asking if she was lost. He came back in furious at me. "Did you tell a stranger that you live here?" he demanded. "Did you tell her your name and that mom and dad aren't here?" I cowered in fear. I didn't know I did anything wrong. Through tears, I begged him not to tell our parents, but he refused. He said they had to know and that I would understand when I'm older. Not even an hour later, the car appeared in front of our house again, and I was sent to my room when the doorbell rang. I could hear my brother yelling, threatening to call the police if she didn't leave. And then I heard the car start to drive away. I crept downstairs to see him calling our parents, telling them they needed to come home now, and I fell asleep long before they got back. Everyone was furious with me that weekend. My parents told me that I was to never tell a stranger where I live or that they weren't home. Looking back, I realized as furious as they were most likely terrified and grateful that we were okay. I didn't know then that the woman wanted to take me away. I didn't know that kidnapping was something that happened to real little boys and girls, and I thought it only happened in movies. Now I know why my parents waited so long to tell me what happened to Connor. And all these years, as his parents mourned him, mine rejoiced it wasn't me. When I turned 17, I took the money I'd saved from Christmas, birthdays, and babysitting and bought a very used white Oldsmobile. There was a lot wrong with it. The air conditioning didn't work, the power steering sucked, the seats were torn, and there was a huge dent in the back. The woman who sold it to me explained that about 10 years ago, a teenager rammed into the back with his bike, and that when kids didn't want to go somewhere, they would tear up her back seat. How foolish was I to believe it was her kids in the back.